When I first received this vintage wedding dress, I did not know who the original bride was. It was in this large wedding dress box that had the address of Maurice Rothschild Young Quinlan on it, which was a department store back in the day, and there's an image of that. It was quite the store. And there was also what appeared to be the recipient's name on there, label on there, but I'll get to that shortly. So inside the box is some very oxidized tissue paper and a very pretty but oxidized wedding dress with brown spots all over it. On the label, as I showed in the front there, it appeared to have the name Bank on it. So I wasn't finding anything with research, and eventually I looked at some old city directories for Edina in 1950, and there's one that shows that Ewald Bank had a daughter named Patty who was 14 at the time. So I started researching that, and I found her. I found an announcement of their wedding from August 24th, 1957, and the dress does match the photo, so I know I have the right bride. A few days later, after that discovery, I went into the Fox Den just to take a look around. They're open on the weekends, and I see peeking out a photo in this kind of box of miscellaneous, and I pull it out, and there she is. Oh my gosh. And that these happened months apart from each other, the dress and in the photo. I just think that's amazing. So happy they're reunited again. But back to the dress. Yes, it is very oxidized, and this is one reason why the estate company, they didn't want to put it in their store because it's too damaged to try to sell. So that's where I come in. They hand these dresses off to me once in a while, and I do what I can to save them because they just can't bear to see them thrown away. That had pins in the back for some reason, so I took those out. And here's another image of all that oxidation, which happened. They had a dry cleaning tag in it at some point from very long ago, but the storage in the acid box, I'm assuming, and the tissue paper just kind of took its toll on the dress. But then there was another discovery. Once I turned it inside out, there is a William Cahill Beverly Hills Limited label, and there's also one on the built-in underskirt. It's a wonderful designer. Feel free to look that up if you're not familiar with William Cahill. So I thought it would be easier to do a better job of cleaning the dress if I removed that net underskirt to kind of reduce the fullness in it. So that is where I started, and I took the buttons off of the sleeve as well. And I'm doing my usual pre-wash that I've been doing recently, or for quite a while, is a bit of retro wash and some Dawn and some washing soda. And then into the bath it goes. And I'm basically, with this, you're just trying to get the main kind of dirt and whatnot. It does take some yellowing out. I'm not expecting it to get the oxidation spots out, which of course it didn't. So now we move on to the sodium perborate. And I'm going to add some extra help to keep the water temperature heated with my immersion circulator, which I pull out from time to time. And it's kind of a convoluted way that I set it up, but I do it so that it's not sitting directly in the solution. I put it in a glass vase that has plain water in it, and I set it for a higher temperature than the 140, which is what sodium perborate likes. It likes a warm temperature. So I set it for a good 20 degrees warmer, and I still could have probably bumped it up a little bit more. But to keep it submerged, this is something new. I ordered this cake stand and took the pieces apart and used those to kind of keep the dress submerged with some towels underneath that as well. So I did 7 hours of the heated soak, and then I turned it off before I went to bed, and then I let it go overnight for another 7 hours, and you see a little more of the yellow water coming out. To get the sodium perborate off, I did a retro wash round again, and more rinsing, and then I have to hang it till it's no longer dripping, and then I towel rolled it and let it air dry. So now onto the pressing. Turn it inside out when I can. And then I got about a third of the way done pressing, and then I noticed this mystery blue spot. I have no idea what it is, and of course I didn't see it before when the dress was so oxidized and spotted. So I didn't want to have to do this, but I just did not want to leave it as it was. I wanted to give it a try. So I put on some peroxide and baking soda, let that dry, brushed it off, which did take care of the spot, but it left a ring. And I did not want to have to do this, but I did the whole soaking all over again. I put some Dawn in it in hopes of it kind of pulling out that ring. And fortunately, it did work. So I was very happy about that. So back to more pressing. And then I'm sewing that underskirt back on. And then I put new buttons for the sleeves. And then here's a reminder of where we started. With all those spots, it's just amazing what oxidation can do to a vintage wedding dress. And now look at it. I tell you, this never gets old. I've done this, how many times, and I'm still amazed when something can be returned back to white again. Now, there were some oxidation kind of thinning areas that happened. Sometimes the oxidation just thins out a fabric from being there for so long. But despite that, it is absolutely a gorgeous dress and revived and ready once again. It's a beautiful creation by William Cahill, which are very classic, wonderful gowns that he did design for many, many years. And this dress is now, instead of it being thrown away, which I'm so glad that they didn't, it is ready once again for another special day 68 years later.